The sky above Earth suddenly darkened not from a storm, but from an unimaginable sight. Hundreds of massive starships emerged from the blackness of space, forming a tight circle around the planet. These ships were unlike anything humanity had ever seen. With cold metal hulls that gleamed ominously under the sun, their shapes sharp and unfamiliar, casting long shadows on cities and oceans below. People everywhere stopped what they were doing, eyes fixed on the sky, hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and disbelief. Governments scrambled to respond, broadcasting emergency alerts, but the alien fleet ignored all communications. Instead, a deep voice, mechanical yet chilling, echoed across all frequencies. Humans of Earth, your time to negotiate has ended. Surrender your technology and resources. Failure to comply will result in total destruction. Panic spread rapidly. Some thought it was a hoax or a shared hallucination. Others knew too well that this was the beginning of something no one was prepared for. Military bases worldwide went on high alert. Satellites shifted into defense modes, and leaders met behind closed doors to decide how to respond to this overwhelming threat. But deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, hidden in a secret base that had been built decades ago and forgotten by most, a different kind of preparation was underway. Commander Reyna stood on the bridge of the Dreadnought, the most advanced ship ever, built by humans, cloaked in secrecy and powered by technology far beyond anything the aliens likely imagined. The Dreadnought had been sleeping, waiting for this moment, its engines humming softly as it awaited orders. Reyna's eyes scanned the glowing screens, watching the alien fleet's patterns, their movements slow but deliberate, designed to keep Earth trapped inside their grasp like a cage. No one on the surface knew this ship existed. Even the world's most powerful generals did not fully trust its capabilities, calling it a risky gamble. But Reyna believed in her crew and in the human spirit. "This is our home," she whispered to herself, the weight of responsibility heavy on her shoulders. Outside the hull, thousands of alien vessels surrounded Earth, ready to destroy anything that resisted. The aliens were confident in their power. Their weapons were tested in battles across galaxies, their ships faster and deadlier than any human craft. But humans had something else: resilience and the unexpected. The Dreadnoughts. Captain ordered the final systems check, and the crew moved with quiet efficiency, preparing to launch. News from the surface was grim. Major cities were locked down, air traffic was halted, and millions watched in fear and hope, waiting for a sign that humanity would fight back. Suddenly, the silence was shattered by the roar of the Dreadnoughts, engines as it broke through the ocean's surface, bursting into the open sky like a rising phoenix. Alien sensors detected the sudden movement immediately, and sirens blared across the fleet. Alien commanders ordered their ships to intercept, believing that crushing this single human ship would end any resistance. But as the Dreadnought accelerated, it unleashed a new kind of weapon, a pulse of energy that temporarily blinded enemy sensors, allowing it to slip past the nearest cruisers. Inside, the crew held their breath, watching the alien ships react with confusion and anger. The battle was about to begin, and the stakes were higher than ever before. As the Dreadnought moved toward the lead alien ship, Reyna issued the order to prepare the main cannons, designed not just to destroy, but to send a message that Earth would not fall without a fight. The first shots tore through space, bright and deadly, catching the aliens off guard and forcing them to scatter. Below, people on Earth watched as the sky lit up with flashes of light and heard reports of the first clash of what would become a massive war. The suspense built with every moment. Could one human ship stand against a fleet of invaders? Reyna's voice crackled through the ship's intercom, steady and calm despite the chaos. "This is only the beginning. We fight for every soul on Earth. We fight for our future." The story of humanity's resistance had just begun. And no, one would forget the day the stars themselves seemed to turn against Earth, but the humans refused to surrender. The dark silence of space was broken by the roar of battle, and somewhere deep in the heart of the Dreadnought, a new hope was born. The Dreadnought shot through the void like a comet, cutting a path straight toward the massive alien fleet that had encircled Earth, its engines roaring with a power that made even the seasoned crew hold their breath. The alien ships responded immediately, their sleek war cruisers turning to face the unexpected threat with deadly precision. Hundreds of plasma cannons flared to life, streaks of bright blue and green energy arcing through the darkness of space, aiming to shred the lone human ship into pieces before it could get close. Inside the Dreadnought's command center, Commander Reyna's hands moved quickly over the control panels, adjusting shields, calculating trajectories, and issuing orders with calm urgency. Her voice was steady, but the tension was thick enough to slice through the thickest armor. The crew, trained for this moment their entire lives, worked as one. Pilots guided the ship through the narrow gaps between incoming fire. Engineers kept the ship's systems humming despite the violent shocks, and weapons officers prepared to retaliate with all their might. The alien fleet was confident, but they had underestimated one crucial thing: humanity's ability to adapt in the face of danger. As the Dreadnought neared the center of the blockade, it released a pulse that scrambled enemy sensors, causing confusion and chaos among the alien commanders. Suddenly, what had been a solid wall of ships became a shifting maze, some vessels turning in surprise, others firing at empty space. Taking advantage of this moment, Reyna ordered the first strike, a series of laser volleys designed to disable, not destroy, the enemy's lead ships. The shots streaked across space, hitting their marks with deadly precision and leaving the enemy flagship crippled but still afloat. This act sent a clear message. Humanity was not just fighting for survival. It was fighting to change the rules of the game. Alien pilots regrouped and counterattacked with a ferocity no one expected. Swarms of smaller fighters launched from carriers, weaving through space in tight formations, targeting the Dreadnought's vulnerable points. Inside the human ship, alarms blared as hull breaches threatened to rip the ship apart. The crew moved, quickly, sealing off damaged sections and rerouting power to keep critical systems online. Reyna's voice cut through the chaos. "Hold steady. Trust your training. We are not done yet." The battle grew more intense with every passing second. The Dreadnought darted and twisted, dodging missiles that exploded in deadly bursts, close, enough to shake the ship. The alien fighters pressed harder, trying to overwhelm the human ship with numbers. But humans had one more advantage: an experimental AI system integrated into the ship's core, capable of learning enemy patterns faster than any pilot could react. This AI predicted the attackers' moves, guiding the ship and weapons to counterstrike, with uncanny accuracy. With every alien fighter that fell, the AI adjusted tactics, forcing the enemy into new and unexpected positions. The fight became a deadly chess game in the void of space, each side trying to outthink and outmaneuver the other. Hours passed, and the battle raged on with no clear winner. The Dreadnought's shields flickered under relentless fire, its engines pushed to their limits, but the human crew refused to yield. On Earth, people watched the stars through telescopes and screens, holding their breath as flashes of light told stories of courage and survival far beyond their reach. In the final moments of the clash, Reyna made a bold decision. She ordered the Dreadnought to launch a high-risk attack on the alien flagship's command center. The ship accelerated, weaving through the shattered debris of destroyed vessels and dodging the last desperate shots of the enemy. The main cannons charged, glowing bright with energy that could tear through the strongest armor. With a roar that shook the ship's core, the Dreadnought fired. The blast struck the flagship's hull with devastating force, sending shockwaves through the alien fleet and breaking their command structure. Alien ships faltered and lost coordination, some retreating, others turning on each other in confusion. The moment was brief but powerful, humanity's declaration that it would not be crushed. The crew cheered softly, knowing this was only the first victory in a much larger war. Commander Reyna looked out at the stars through the bridge's viewport, her mind already racing ahead to what would come next. The alien fleet was wounded but not defeated, and she knew the days ahead would be even darker and more dangerous. Yet, somewhere deep inside, a fierce hope burned bright. Earth would fight, and humanity would survive. The clash of titans had begun, and the galaxy would soon learn that humans were far more dangerous than anyone had guessed. After the devastating strike on their flagship, the alien fleet's formation began to falter, drifting like a wounded beast uncertain of its next move. The dreadnought hovered near the edge of the chaos, its crew both exhausted and alert, knowing this was a brief moment of calm before the storm returned. Inside the ship, scientists and intelligence officers gathered around encrypted data streams recovered from the crippled alien command vessel. The information was unlike anything Earth had ever encountered, a mix of strange symbols, genetic codes, and star maps, hinting at a dark purpose behind the invasion. Commander Reyna studied the transmissions carefully, her brow furrowed as a chilling truth emerged. The aliens had come not just to conquer or plunder, but to capture something unique to humans: our DNA. Somewhere in the cold reaches of the galaxy, an ancient plague had wiped out countless species, and the aliens believed Earth's genetic code held a secret cure, or perhaps a weapon hidden in our very biology. This revelation cast a shadow over the crew. It was no longer just a battle for territory, but a fight for the very essence of what it meant to be human. As the dreadnought's scientists raced to decode the genetic fragments, communication channels opened with a group of captured alien officers. Through painstaking translation, the humans learned of a fractured alliance within the invading fleet, different species bound by fear and desperation rather than loyalty. Some of these alien factions resented the campaign against Earth, believing it was a fool's errand doomed to fail. Using this knowledge, Reyna planned a daring strategy to exploit these cracks and turn enemy against enemy. While the dreadnought's crew prepared for the next wave of battle, back on Earth, researchers worked feverishly in underground labs, analyzing the ship's mysterious energy core. This power source was unlike any reactor known to humanity. It pulsed with strange energy waves that seemed to respond to human thought. Legends among the crew whispered that the core was recovered from a lost expedition, a vessel that disappeared beyond known space decades ago, carrying secrets that could change the fate of the stars. As data poured in, scientists uncovered startling possibilities. The core might be the key not only to defense but to exploration, perhaps even to finding others who had survived the ancient plague. Meanwhile, tension aboard the dreadnought was thick. The alien prisoners remained a constant reminder of the unknown, their faces etched with fear, defiance, and sometimes grudging respect. Reyna oversaw every detail of their interrogation, knowing that a single slip could mean disaster. Slowly, a fragile dialogue emerged, revealing personal stories and motivations behind the fleet's commanders. Stories of lost homes, broken alliances, and a desperation to survive that mirrored humanity's own. These revelations gave Reyna hope that the war was not simply black and white but a complex web of choices and chances. But time was running short. Sensors detected new enemy fleets regrouping beyond the edges of the shattered blockade, preparing for a renewed assault. The dreadnought would soon face overwhelming odds. Yet armed with fresh knowledge and unbroken spirit, humanity was ready to fight smarter and harder. Reyna stood on the bridge, her eyes reflecting the distant stars, knowing that the secrets unveiled were both a warning and a weapon. The galaxy held mysteries darker than any enemy's firepower, and now, Earth was part of that hidden story. The battle was far from over, but this chapter revealed that survival would demand more than strength. It would require understanding the enemies within and without. In the silence between attacks, the crew worked tirelessly, driven by the belief that the next move could change everything. The dreadnought, once just a secret weapon, was becoming the heart of humanity's fight for existence, and the secrets it uncovered would be the key to turning the tide. The dreadnought's crew worked relentlessly, the tension aboard the ship almost unbearable as reports came in of the alien fleet's regrouping forces gathering like a storm on the edge of space. Their numbers far greater and more dangerous than before. Commander Reyna stood at the bridge, her gaze steady, but her mind racing through countless strategies to turn the tide of this war. Using the intelligence gained from captured aliens and the secrets hidden in the mysterious energy core, the humans prepared for a plan that was as bold as it was risky. Instead of meeting the enemy head-on, Reyna decided to strike at the fleet's weakest points, the fractured alliances and the supplies that kept their war machines alive. She sent out encrypted messages, broadcasting secretly to alien factions, who had shown signs of hesitation and dissent. offering them a chance to defect or fight for a new future. The gamble paid off. Within days, whispers of mutiny spread across the alien armada. Some factions, tired of endless war and fearful of total destruction, began to withdraw their ships or even secretly sabotage their own commanders' efforts. Meanwhile, the Dreadnought led a guerrilla campaign, darting through asteroid fields and nebulae to strike enemy supply lines with precise, devastating attacks. Human fighters and drones, smaller but faster and smarter thanks to the AI systems on board, disrupted communications and destroyed vital resource convoys. The once united alien fleet was now a fractured force scrambling to maintain control. Back on Earth, the news of these victories ignited hope. People gathered in public squares and homes, watching live transmissions from the Dreadnought and its fleet, cheering every success, praying for the safety of those who fought among the stars. The morale boost was vital. Humanity needed to believe it could win this war. In space, alliances shifted rapidly. Rebel alien ships began coordinating with human forces, sharing knowledge of enemy tactics and weaknesses. Commander Reyna, cautious but hopeful, negotiated carefully through these fragile new partnerships, knowing that trust was a scarce commodity in war. Battles raged as the Dreadnought and its allies pushed deeper into the broken fleet's territory. The alien commanders, desperate and enraged, launched ferocious counterattacks, but without unity. Their forces were scattered and easier to outmaneuver. During one fierce battle near a dying star, the Dreadnought barely escaped a deadly trap, its shields flashing red as enemy fire hammered the hull. The crew worked feverishly, repairing damage as they fled. But the close call only strengthened their resolve. They had come too far to lose now. Through all this, Commander Reyna's leadership shone brightest. She inspired her crew with calm, confidence, and a clear vision to protect Earth and show the galaxy that humans were not weak prey, but fierce warriors and worthy allies. Her famous broadcast during the height of the conflict, showing Earth's determination and the unity of its people, reached distant worlds, sparking hope and resistance movements against the old tyrants of the galaxy. The tide was turning. What had once seemed like an impossible fight was now a war of survival and revolution. The alien fleet, once the unstoppable force, was unraveling before human eyes, and the Dreadnought was at the heart of this transformation. Yet Reyna knew that the greatest dangers were still ahead. The enemy's desperation could lead to unpredictable and deadly moves, and Earth's future depended on their ability to stay united and strong. As the Dreadnought sped toward the next battlefront, a quiet determination settled over the crew. They had learned that victory would not come from sheer power alone, but from understanding, courage, and the unbreakable spirit that had carried humanity through the darkest nights. The war was far from over. But now, the stars themselves seemed to shine with a new promise, one that humanity was ready to claim. The shattered remnants of the alien fleet retreated deeper into uncharted space, their once mighty armada now a scattered collection of broken ships and lost hope, while the Dreadnought and its allies advanced steadily, carrying the weight of a hard-won victory and the promise of a new future. Commander Reyna stood at the bridge, staring into the endless stars with a mixture of relief and vigilance, knowing that while the battle was won, the war for peace was only just beginning. Across the galaxy, word of Earth's courage and strength spread like wildfire, inspiring oppressed worlds and forgotten species to rise and reclaim their freedom from tyrants who had ruled for centuries. Earth, once isolated and vulnerable, had become a beacon of hope and power, its people united like never before in the face of a common enemy. The Dreadnought, now a legend among the stars, was no longer just a ship, but a symbol of humanity's will to survive and thrive. Despite the celebrations, Commander Reyna was deeply aware that peace would not come easily. The ancient plague that had haunted the galaxy remained a shadow, a reminder of the fragile thread upon which all life balanced. Scientists aboard the Dreadnought worked day and night to study the captured alien technology and genetic samples, searching for ways to protect humanity and its new allies from this invisible enemy. Negotiations began with former foes turned friends, weaving together a fragile coalition determined to rebuild and ensure that no species would again face extinction alone. Earth offered terms of peace that included sharing technology, knowledge, and protection, establishing a new galactic council where all voices could be heard. These talks were tense and filled with suspicion, but slowly, a new order took shape, one built not on fear, but on trust and cooperation. Reyna's leadership was key in this transformation, her steady hand guiding delicate discussions and reminding all parties of the price paid in blood and sacrifice. Yet even as hope blossomed, mysteries remained. The dreadnought's energy, core pulsed softly, its secret still only partially understood, hinting at a power beyond even their wildest dreams. Reyna and her closest advisors debated whether to use this energy to explore deeper into the galaxy, to uncover other survivors of the plague, or to defend against threats still hidden in the darkness. The crew prepared for these new journeys, with a mix of excitement and caution, ready to face whatever lay beyond the known stars. Back on Earth, life slowly returned to a new kind of normal. Cities rebuilt, economies recovered, and people celebrated not just survival, but the dawn of a new era where humanity stood proud among the stars. The stories of the war, the dreadnought's battles, and Reyna's courage became legends told in homes and schools, inspiring a generation that understood what it meant to fight for freedom and to never give up. But in the quiet moments, Reyna often looked up at the night sky, knowing that the galaxy was vast and full of unknown dangers and wonders. The war had changed humanity, making it stronger, wiser, and more connected to the universe. The final scene aboard the dreadnought showed the crew gathered, faces illuminated by soft lights, ready to embark on their next mission, to explore, protect, and ensure that the hard-fought peace would last for generations. The stars above seemed brighter now, as if welcoming humanity into their vast family. The dawn of this new era was not just an ending, but a beginning, full of promise, challenges, and the endless adventure that comes with being a part of the great cosmic story.